Hey, Forrest here. Nothing like getting paid. And with ICCU's mobile app, I can deposit checks or accept Zelle payments so the money hits my account fast. I just wish there was an app for mowing the rest of these lawns.
Right now, Lithia Ford of Boise is buying used vehicles. How much you want for the SUV?
I don't know.
Well, Lithia Ford will give you more than that.
How much more?
More than you think.
I'm not thinking anything.
I'm thinking you might get even more than that. See how much more you can get at Lithia Ford of Boise.
When it comes to concrete, we've got you covered. RowPaint.com offers custom concrete coating services for your garage, business, warehouse, and more. And we do it in one day. We are your complete concrete coatings solution.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news. It's Mondays with Mallory with KTIK 95.3 FM The Ticket's John Mallory. Listen to Idaho Sports Talk with Prater in the Ballgame weekdays from 3 to 6 on 95.3 FM The Ticket and online at KTIK.com. Today's broadcast is coming from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktail Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Now, here's Johnny Ballgame and BJ Rains with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hey, how we doing, Boise State fans? Happy Monday to you. That's right, Johnny Ballgame's here. My name's BJ Rains. This is Bronco Nation News Live. Every weekday, 9 a.m., we talk Boise State sports here on the social media channels of Bronco Nation News. So make sure you're subscribing to that YouTube channel at the bottom of the screen there. Hit the like button, all that good stuff. We're looking to build our channel here as we go through the summer. And as I said, KTIK 95.3 FM, The Ticket. Johnny Ballgame with us for his regular Monday appearance. Johnny, looks like you're back from a Hawaii vacation or something. You got a pep in your step, the nice-looking shirt there, man. Happy Monday to you.
JP always appreciates it when I wear a collared shirt on Monday. So I did this for him.
Yeah. He has like the T-shirt with some of your Sean Kemp T-shirts or something. He's more of a fan of the classier look there.
Yeah. So no, all kidding aside, man, just was kind of looking through the closet today. This looked fun. It's Monday. I get to hang out with DJ Rains, kick off a new week of Idaho Sports Talk. It's mid-May. It's going to be 90 degrees at the end of the week. Wow. I know you're going to Luke Combs. I'm going to Luke Combs. We're giving away Luke Combs tickets all week.
Nice.
So I'm going to kick this thing off on a Monday the right way. Let's talk some Boise State. I love it.
Starting in a couple weeks here after the golf tournament, you'll be able to wear this shirt right here because this is the new shirt that's being given out at the golf tournament on June 2nd. Nice, comfy material. So, Johnny, if you're in need of a new T-shirt, you're going to get one in a couple weeks here for the Bronco Nation News Golf. It was my alarm going off that the show should be starting. So,
vitamin time? Okay.
No. We are broadcasting from the Cutwater Spirits mobile studios. Make sure you check them out. More than 30 flavors of premixed premium cocktails available at your local gas station or grocery store. And Johnny, before we get into football here, we're going to continue our football series. Do need to mention tough finish for Justin Schultz and the softball team over the weekend in the Mountain West tournament. A lot of build-up, regular season champs, obviously. And then they lose 2 out of 3 in the tournament, lose twice to San Jose State. Had a home run robbed from them in that last game. That would have been a 3-run homer, would have changed the difference. They tried a steal of home with the bases loaded. That didn't work out. There was a pitching decision taking out Taylor Caudle in the first game that was had some people on social media talking about it. So a rough couple of days for the softball team. They do not get picked for the NCAA tournament, but regular season champs and back-to-back 30-plus win seasons now. And Kelsey Hall and a lot of the key players coming back next year. So future is bright. They got to figure out how to get the lights installed this offseason. A lot to do, but I know you're a big fan of what Coach Schultz is doing with the softball team. Tough ending for them.
You'd think if you win the Mountain West outright regular season in softball, you could like your chances going to the dance, right? And that's too bad that the softball landscape right now is just that, the Mountain West. And I don't follow this and I don't cover it. This is just what smarter people have told me. Bob Beeler, you guys saying like, look, this is kind of a one-bid league for softball. At least it was this year. So that's a bummer. I mean, you want to say great season. You won the league. Like, what more do you want to do, really? What's the first thing on Andy Avalos's board in the meeting room, right? Win the Mountain West. And you want to let the pieces kind of fall as they do. And then they just kind of didn't this season for Coach Schultz. But they'll be ready to go. This is turning into a bigger softball market and community. I think what the last 2 years have made a difference in attracting some interest. You mentioned the lights. So softball program for Boise State fans in pretty good shape right now.
And I hate to say this, but them losing does mean Coach Schultz will be in attendance at the golf tournament on June 2nd. He was out there last year, John. He's going to be out there again. Looking forward to having Justin Schultz out there. Also, we'll have Sean Garris, the volleyball coach. We know Leon Rice and his whole staff. And Johnny, I did confirm within the last couple of days that Gordy Presnell, the women's coach, will be in attendance also. So a lot of who's who. I think 4 head coaches scheduled to attend. And then a lot of assistants and players. So we do have some afternoon spots left. I know Johnny's looking forward to that bacon bag that he'll be getting. But June 2nd, hope you join us 2 weeks from Friday. It's coming up fast, and we do have a couple afternoon spots available. If you want to come hang out and see Johnny and Prater, they'll be doing their show out there. Going to be a lot of fun. Of course, you can win that hole-in-one as well from Lithia Ford of Boise. So you can win a new car with a hole-in-one from Lithia Ford of Boise. So, Johnny, before we get into the football, I did see, I don't know if you saw or not, there was a story this morning, Ross Dellinger from Sports Illustrated. He is one of the most connected guys when it comes to realignment and all this kind of stuff, and talked about how things are going to be moving, and it's going to be a pretty active summer in the realignment phase with college athletics. And Boise State fans a little unhappy, a little uneasy. There were 4 Mountain West schools listed in terms of the realignment candidates for the Big 12 and the Pac-12. None of the 4 were Boise State. The words Boise State, phrase Boise State, not mentioned in the entire article. San Diego State, I think we think as a given going to the Pac-12. It talked about the Big 12 being interested in them as well. They're going somewhere. And then it mentions UNLV, Colorado State, and Fresno State as expansion candidates down the line for either the Big 12 or the Pac-12. No mention in the entire story of Boise State. That's got fans a little uneasy this morning.
You know, I think a couple ways to take this, BJ. I think back and think, if things would have maybe been run differently 10, 15 years ago, whatever fashion, maybe this would have already happened and they would have been in a Power 5 conference by now. Or on the other side of that coin is, what was keeping them out then is whatever keeping them out now. Maybe that's geographic location. Maybe that's the population. A lot of these factors coming in. Maybe it has something to do with some academic stuff. I don't know, but I love this city. Anybody who comes to this city who's never been here typically loves this city. This is a cool market. This is a market on the rise, and you think there would be some attention, some attractiveness to this type of market for the Big 12, for the Pac-12, but it's weird. There just isn't. This is the Boise State fan gets some bad news on this 3-4 times a year when we talk about this. Now, is college football going to still let the group of 5 or whatever it's going to be called at that point? Are they going to still give them a seat at the table for this 12-team tournament that I cannot wait to see in 2024? If so, maybe the Boise State fan, you go back to kind of that old school approach, win as many games as you can in the regular season, and then just try to get in that tournament and be the Cinderella of college football. The problem was that this fan base didn't want to stay Cinderella. Cinderella didn't stay Cinderella, right? She went to the ball, she met the prince, and then she lived happily ever after, not being Cinderella. She was a princess at that point, and that's where a Boise State fan kind of wants to be, huh? You were Cinderella to get you to a certain point. Now let's keep taking this thing up. And unfortunately, when it comes to conference expansion, BJ, it's like they just don't want Boise State for whatever reasons.
Yeah, they obviously always look at the TV market and all that stuff. Heck, you mentioned Luke Combs coming here on Saturday. He was last Saturday playing at, like 2 nights ago, playing at the Minnesota Vikings, 80,000 seat stadium. And the next couple of weeks, he's playing at Arrowhead Stadium. You look at the list of towns that Luke Combs' tour is on right now. They're they're all NFL stadiums, huge mega stadiums, and then he's making a stop in Boise, Idaho on a Saturday night. Yes.
Saturday, not a Wednesday, Saturday. I agree.
So, I mean, I'm not saying that has anything to do with Big 12 expanding, but it does show that it just shows that, as you mentioned, the town is growing, the market is growing, and Boise, Idaho has a lot to offer. For whatever reason, you're right. They just don't. And I saw somebody say it on Twitter. I think they were kind of being facetious, or they're a troll from one of the other fan bases, but they kind of have a point, too. Like, they said the reason with Boise State is they haven't done enough winning the last 7 years. Like, I mean, they're still winning 9-10 games a lot of these years, Johnny, but I mean, they're not even winning conference championships every year. And They haven't been, obviously, to the big BCS bowl game, New Year's Six since 2014. You're going on a decade now. Fans may not want to hear it, Johnny, but like a little bit of that Boise State luster might be rubbing off, might be, a little bit going away. That the record on the field has, not been great the last 5, 6, 7 years.
Yeah, it's like giving a toddler cough syrup, which I'm sure you've experienced, man. Not a pill, not something that this fan base wants to swallow there. But I think the reasonable fans in this fan base, Bronco Nation, I think the reasonable ones know, and they understand it, and it frustrates them too, and they get it, and they talk to you about it, they talk to us about it, and they do understand it, and obviously, if you would have thought they were winning at the level they were 10 years ago, if they just be, just a no-brainer for the Big 12 or the Pac-12 to call, like, these guys are winning at such high levels. They're winning big bowl games. They're on TV. They have star players. Yeah, we want them. And, yeah, that's kind of slipped. That has slipped. And Andy Avalos and his staff need to get that back. And this year, New Year's Six game, that should be, and I think will be, kind of the talk of the town and the talk of the season, saying, can this be the year? When is it going to happen? Can Boise State get back to a New Year's Six game this season? Absolutely, especially with the three really big group of 5 programs, BJ, now all in the Big 12, they're out of the mix.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a big thing. Just right off the bat, you're taking out Houston, Cincinnati, UCF, and that changes things in a hurry right there, who you're going against this year. So, and we've talked about it last week. I talked about it with Jay Tust. I mean, that's that early season schedule is going to say a lot. You somehow come out of the first 5 games 4-1. I mean, maybe this is the year they get back to a New Year's Six game. But if you're 2-3 or 1-4, it's not obviously what folks are wanting to see. So you can check that out. Sports Illustrated, Ross Dellinger tweeted that out. There's a lot of good stuff about the Big 12. It said maybe in a matter of a couple of weeks, they're scheduled to meet again, the presidents and everybody in West Virginia, and for their meetings at the end of the month. And that could be ready for them to officially make some invites or do some things in terms of expansion. And we'll see what happens. If Brett McMurphy had something over the weekend, Johnny, if you saw that about Oregon and Washington still being looked at by the Big Ten. If that happens, and maybe the 4 corner schools from the Pac-12 end up going to the Big 12, well, maybe the leftover Pac-12 Mountain West kind of forms some league. I mean, who knows if that would even be good enough to call it a Power 5 league at that point. But there's a lot of possibilities, a lot of scenarios out there. But at least in the one from Ross Dellinger today, none of those include Boise State expanding to a Power 5 conference, and that I know has some folks worried. So check that out. I'm sure you guys will be all over that again today on Idaho Sports Talk, 3 to 6, 95.3 FM, 1350 AM, their app, all the ways you can listen to them. Let's talk about the wide receiver group and continue our list here. But first, do want to tell you about a couple of our great sponsors, including Lean Feast. We'll be out there tomorrow. Jay Tust and I doing a live broadcast from Lean Feast tomorrow, 9 a.m. Come join us. Check us out. Would love to have you try their food and come by and say hello. I think, Johnny, that Jay has waived. I think Jay has waived his autograph and picture fee for tomorrow. So if you come by and say hello to Jay, I believe you'll be able to get a free of charge an autograph. He'll even bring his own glossy photos and Sharpies tomorrow, I believe, is the understanding for this. So leanfeast.com/Meridian, awesome, fresh, fully customizable meal prep. We'll be out there tomorrow. Come join us and say hello, and continuing to drop some pounds, and I'm doing it thanks to Lean Feast. So we appreciate them and their support of Bronco Nation News. Come out tomorrow and see what it's all about. The Blue and Orange Store, free shipping, any order over $40. And if you're in the Boise area, you can go to the Boise Town Square Mall. They're on the 2nd floor next to Pro Image. They'll be sponsoring the prizes, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place. If John Mallory's team at the tournament wins 1st place, he'll be taking home a Blue and Orange Store gift card, courtesy of the Blue and Orange Store. So we appreciate them and their continued support of Bronco Nation News. Bauscher Real Estate, #1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley. He'll be out there at the golf tournament as well. No home is too big or too small. Check them out, BoucherRealEstate.com. Johnny, they got putting together a ringer of a team here. They got Vinny Peretta playing on their team. They've got Matt Boucher, Ty Travis, I believe, a former professional golfer, might be joining their team as well. So Matt Boucher doing all he can to try to win this thing, and he is stacking his team with Vinny Peretta and some of the folks from Title One. So appreciate him for being out there and looking forward to that. And one more sponsor I'll hit here. If you're looking for a new job, check out Transportation Compliance Service. TCS can help you every step of the way get into the trucking industry, whether you're it's the big rig on the screen, the Amazon truck in your neighborhood, any kind of delivery service vehicle, they can help you out. TCS, Transportation Compliance Service. Check them out. The best in the business, transcompservice.com. Johnny, we're continuing our 20-part off-season series here during the month of May, and we are halfway done with it, and that kind of worked out nicely. 20 topics, 20 shows in May, and excited about what we've been doing so far. And we're kind of going, kind of just have a list of 20, but they are getting a little more important as we go along here, a little bit bigger. And I think this is a very interesting topic today. A crowded wide receivers room. How does the playing time shake out? How does the production shake out from a group that brings back pretty much everybody in that wide receiver room? Obviously, they lost Davis Cutter. They lost a couple of the tight ends that had some of the past production. But when you're bringing back Billy Bowens, Steph Cobbs, Latrell Caples, and by the way, Eric McAllister seems like he's emerging as a star. Austin Bolt, we expect to be back at some point in the mix here. They've got Chase Penry, the transfer wide receiver from Colorado, who I don't think is transferring to be a bench player. I'm missing some guys as well. We'll get into these guys kind of individually, but just in general, the wide receiver room, the playing time, the production. I mean, that's one of the deepest positions on the team. Johnny, where are you at with the wide receivers?
It is, and it should be one of the strong positions of leadership on this team, because kind of the big three, if you will, Caples, Bowens, and Cobbs, I mean, they've been here. I think all three of them were either playing or at least were a red shirt when Boise State won its last Mountain West championship in 2019, BJ. Like, they're one of the few people that's still in that building that can say they've won a conference championship. Think about it this way, though. There's so many questions, and I know it's a packed room, very competitive. I can't wait to see how it shakes out. But Boise State has to be one of the few teams in America that returns its top 6 pass catchers, and we still kind of wonder who's going to get the targets or where they're going to be dispersed. I mean, Davis Cutter's, I think, 14 catches is the most that they're going to miss. And I'm throwing in George Holani and Ashton Genty in that mix. They were both in the top 6 last year for pass catchers. They're both back. And the crazy thing is I'm kind of deciphering 2 groups here. And then I have kind of my wild cards. You mentioned a little bit too. Obviously, it's the big 3, like I mentioned there. But there's this new trio emerging. Eric McAllister, Shea Whiting, and my personal favorite, Prince Strawn. Those 3 are not sitting and just waiting for the other 3 to finish playing so they can get a chance. They're trying to play this year too. Austin Bolt's a mega wild card. That would be a terrific story if he can come back and help this team in this room in any way. And then Penry, the Colorado kid, you said it well too. I like it. He didn't come here to sit and just get a Scully. He's coming here to play. He went to Colorado to play. And it's a loaded room. Matt Miller's got some decisions to make. Hopefully they'll be easy for him because it'll just kind of work itself out.
You mentioned the big 3 and then the next 3.
Yeah.
Where would the next 3 rank in terms of Boise State wide receiver ranks? I mean, excuse me, the Mountain West wide receiver ranks. I mean, if you've got Shea Whiting and Eric McAllister and Prince Strawn, like, I bet you that those 3 are better than a trio that some Mountain West team has. Wouldn't you think?
That's a great point. Like, if you put those 3 in Albuquerque, New Mexico today.
Yeah, would all 3 of those guys start
on your depth chart? Like, are those your big 3 there? You probably, and you could probably even go programs, maybe a little higher up than New Mexico. Could they be the 3 at UNLV right now? Who knows? That's a good point, though. Yeah, good problems for Matt Miller. Just got to find a way to sell this on all these guys that no one here is going to catch 80 balls, but everyone might catch 35 to 40, and they'll all kind of even itself out at the end of the year. I know you'll have games like you're going to be frustrated. You'll have games where you'll have 1 target and no catch, and that's going to suck. I get it. But at the end of the year, I can sell you on all of you guys are going to have competitive numbers. We're going to win a Mountain West championship and hopefully be playing in the Peach Bowl. We good? If Matt Miller and Avalos and these guys can sell them on that, and they seem like good kids, these receivers. And if they wanted stats, wouldn't a couple of these guys try to go somewhere else or go into the portal or maybe even go down and say, I want to go play in the Big Sky for 1 year because I want to catch 70 balls in a year and try to see what I can do in the pros. Who knows? But none of those guys, that didn't happen. In fact, guys came in very competitive room. It's going to be awesome. But that's a great point about the next three.
Yeah, Billy Bowens and Steph Cobbs are back for their 6th years. Both those guys were here in 2018. So you've got two sixth-year guys in Steph Cobbs and Billy Bowens that, according, are both back for their 6th years. They kind of said all along that was going to be the plan for them, but they are back.
Think about this, though. Those two players for a year in practice caught balls from Brett Rippon. That's how long those guys have been here now. Rip was the starting quarterback in 18. That was before
crazy. That was the game that they've been a part of a bowl game canceled in the first quarter. The First Responder Bowl, the game that never happened, was 2018. So those guys those guys have been around since then. But I mean, Latrell Caples really emerged last year, Johnny. 51 catches for Latrell Caples. He is the youngest guy of the group. He's a redshirt junior, his 4th year in the program. 51 catches, 549 yards, 4 touchdowns. He emerged. Billy Bowens, 32 catches for 463 yards, 4 touchdowns as well. And then Steph Cobbs missed 2 games due to injury, but still had 29 catches for 396 as well. So 3 returning guys. And if you throw in Riley Smith, as you said, 4 guys returning with at least 25 catches and at least 200 yards receiving from that standpoint. So, I guess we'll go with the big 3 first. Cobbs, Bowens, Caples. How do you rank those 3 in terms of what you expect from the production? If you go on the stats, it was Caples, then Bowens, then Cobbs. I think Cobbs, a lot of people thought would be number 1 going into that group as like the top wide receiver. I mentioned that he missed 2 games due to injury, but Caples, Bowens, Cobbs. How do you rank those 3 in terms of what you expect the production to be this year?
I'm going to rank them based on what I think I'm going to see from Bush's offense in comparison to what Tim Plow did and then what Dirk was doing. I think I'm going to go back to Cobbs for the big 3 to kind of get back to where he was a couple of years ago when people were saying Khalil Shakir is passing the Boise State receiver baton that says all conference on it, because that's what this program has done, and he is passing that to Steph Cobbs. It's almost like last year, Caples and Bowens and other guys like, no, you're not going to get this Static. I think Static will have a pretty good year, and I think Bush might move him around. I think he's better coming out of the slot. I mean, you've seen Static. He's not a monster dude, but he can make guys miss. And I think there's other players who aren't monster dudes who will better serve Bush's offense playing on the outside. So I think Static will get a lot of balls there. And then Bowens is just steady. I don't think any of these guys of the big 3, of the older 3, I don't think any of these guys are going to have first team all conference caliber years, but I think they'll be steady. I think they'll show strong leadership. They'll make big catches when they need to. I mean, I feel like this is going to be an offense that's primed on the run. I don't know where the differential is going to be. I know how much teams pass now, but I would expect maybe the best of the 3 to have, I don't know, maybe 45, 50 catches. I think that would be a good year. And all 3 of these collectively, can you get 70 catches total, 80 catches total out of these 3? We'll see. Maybe even more than that. And some big plays, obviously, when you need it. And I think Latrell Caples and possibly Cobbs, obviously, can help you in the kick return game, too.
You mentioned nobody being maybe first team all conference. So are you expecting those 3 to like this year, kind of even out the numbers? Or do you think one of them will have you're saying Cobbs, but are we talking a big difference? Or do you think all 3 of these guys are going to kind of share the production?
I think it'll be kind of like last year. Yeah, I think they'll kind of share the production, BJ. I will say when it does come there to Cobbs, you said, the return game I mentioned earlier before, maybe they can find other ways to kind of help make plays. It might be a case of this. The first 4, 5, 7 games, we see more of the big 3. The last 4, 5, 7 games, we see more of the next 3. A lot of times you'll see that in college football. As the season progresses, they'll get more comfortable, and there'll be a time where maybe Bush Hamden, Matt Miller wants to turn the page a little bit and see what they can get out of these young guys.
Let's talk about the young guys in the second group here in just a second. But first, want to tell you about Ridley's Family Markets. Shop Ridleys.com. Check them out. 13 Idaho locations. Find one near you. Make sure you go download that new Ridley's app from your smartphone. You can get exclusive savings up to 40%. And again, find a location, shopridleys.com. You need business insurance, you need to go check out United Commercial Insurance. They can write business policy insurance in 44 states around the country. Brandon Miner and his staff do a tremendous job. Check them out, 229-8222. They make business insurance easy. Quick call could save you hundreds of dollars at unitedcommercialinsurance.com. You need a dentist? We'll go see Dr. Miner and his staff, BoiseDentistryCo.com, 5 locations across the Treasure Valley. Full family dentistry. They make an enjoyable experience going to the dentist. Naismith was just there having a tooth pulled last week, and always enjoy our time over at Boise Dentistry Co. Find a location near you. Again, 5 in the Treasure Valley, BoiseDentistryCo.com. It's the weather's warming up. Johnny said it's going to be near 90 this weekend. That means Lithia Ford at Boise. It's grilling season. When the grills are heating up out in your backyard, the sales are heating up at Lithia Ford at Boise. Make sure you check them out, LithiaFordBoise.com, to view the full inventory of vehicles, LithiaFordBoise.com. And Johnny, a week from tomorrow, Idaho Central Credit Union, we will make I would call it a major announcement at Bronco Nation News and Idaho Central Credit Union. A week from tomorrow is the schedule for that live announcement. ICCU.com. More than 550,000 Idahoans have made the switch. The number continues to climb, and you can too for the best in mobile e-branch online banking. Check them out, ICCU.com. Johnny, you mentioned the other three. How do you rank the group after the big three? We got Shea Whiting, who you mentioned he's done some things and still is kind of the forgotten man in the group when it comes to a lot of these guys. We mentioned Eric McAllister, who, again, I think is a guy that is getting a lot of hype right now, and he had 11 catches last season. So we do have to kind of have to remember that a little bit. And then Prince Strawn, another guy who's getting a ton of praise for what he did in the spring, and he's got the NFL bloodlines, as you guys have discussed on your show, but 0 catches. This is his first season here as well. So a lot of hype. How much of that's going to actually turn into production here? What do you make of the guys after the quote unquote big three?
I know this, and I'm on the sidelines sometimes at practice, before games, before the spring game. I'm on the sidelines, right? And those three look different than the big three, the younger three, the next three. They look bigger, faster, stronger. They do, and especially the Strawn kid and the McAllister kid and Whiting has filled out as well. Like, to me, I mean, I'm really excited athletically to see what these guys can do. I really want to temper it, though, and because the three that we've been talking about are all very well capable Mountain West receivers, and they can absolutely win the league with Caples, Bowens, and Static, right? But you have these other three kind of waiting to make plays, and we've seen them make plays. I've seen them at practice. I've seen them in the spring game. Just in warmups, watching the fluidity of sometimes how these guys catch the ball and their route running. I think they can all, like you said, probably start at just about any other Mountain West school right now. Strawn, I like the most, but I have to temper also the most because he's the youngest. He's played the least amount of, he's from the Bahamas. I'm not sure when exactly they got playing football. I don't want to say he just started playing in high school. I think he told us that he played a little earlier, or his brother did. I'm sorry. We had his brother on who plays in the NFL for the Indianapolis Colts at the same position. He just looks like you've seen him, BJ. Last year we looked at McAllister and he was bigger than everybody. Strawn's bigger than McAllister. And you're like, what? He's bigger than McAllister? What the heck, man? And he runs really well. And I think he has terrific hands too. He's such a natural ball catcher for me. He's who I'm most excited about, but probably might take the longest to maybe exceed some of the expectations idiots like me probably are putting on him. McAllister, you're right. The best, 11 catch season in Boise State history. We're
4 touchdowns, though. 4 touchdowns.
It should be. Yeah. That's like, so if he catches 40 balls this year, we're going to get 10 touchdowns out of that, right? I see what you're doing on that. Okay. I mean, it seems like Eric McAllister and Talon Green have developed a nice rapport with each other. And I think Talon feels comfortable. Dude, I'm going to throw this ball up on a 50-50 ball, and it's not going to get picked off. Okay. I mean, quarterbacks, if they don't think you're going to get up there and get it, or at least not let the DB get it, they don't want interceptions on their stat sheet, man. And I think Taylor Green has a lot of confidence throwing deep to McAllister, and Whiting just feels like he can do a little bit of everything. He's just good at a lot of different stuff, fluid athlete. I like the way he catches the ball too, and I'm excited to see what he can do. And then obviously the other guys, Penry and Bolt, whatever. But I like the young guys a lot. I just don't know. Yeah, like you said, they haven't really done much, but there's definitely a lot to be excited for there.
No doubt about it. A crowded wide receiver room, and we just mentioned 8 guys that we would potentially, if you bring in Bolt and Penry, 8 guys that make a legitimate case to maybe get some playing time this year. So, it's going to be exciting to see wide receiver and how that shakes out with the depth chart and the production and who Taylor Green's favorite guy becomes. That is going to be one of the key storylines on this team moving forward, the production at wide receiver, probably the deepest position on the team. So, Johnny,
position too, man. Yep.
Appreciate your time as always. We'll be listening 3 to 6 today. Idaho Sports Talk 95.3 FM, 1350 AM. By the way, Tyreek LaBeouf up there with your Seahawks, man. I saw him sporting that number 5 at the rookie minicamp. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with Tyreek LaBeouf if he can hang on there. But appreciate everybody for
those long corners, man. You know that.
Appreciate everybody for checking us out. Thanks again, rowpaint.com. Have a great rest of your Monday. We'll be listening today to KTIK, and then we'll be back with Jay Tuss tomorrow at 9 a.m. Have a great day. We'll talk to you later. Bronco Nation News Live. Go subscribe. Go register for the golf tournament. BroncoNationNews.com.